Right. Hello everybody. I will talk to you about accessibility because that is the most important thing. Your other speakers tonight will give you innovation and insight. I will give you homework. Also, these are just my personal views, but they're pretty good. I want to start off with a couple of statements and you will agree. Number one, designers are good people. Thank you. I've never heard a designer say, I don't care if somebody can't read this text, or not my fault if somebody can't use this device, or who cares if this is confusing. But statement number two is also true. Some designs exclude people. You have seen people unable to read the text on something. You have seen people unable to use a physical device. You've seen people utterly bamboozled while trying to use a service that somebody has designed. Now, the first question is this life or death stuff? The answer is yes. One of tonight's other speakers, Aral, wrote my favorite essay. It's called This Is All There Is. And in this essay, Aral makes the point that pretty much everything that we can design can affect life events and death events. Aral gives the example of even a straightforward bus timetable app. That can affect life events. If we design it badly, somebody might miss their daughter's 5th birthday party. It can affect death events. Somebody might miss the chance to say goodbye to a dying loved one. And so the frustrating question then is, why do some designs still exclude people? I mean, we all know that not everybody can see perfectly. We all know that not everybody can hear perfectly. We know that not everybody thinks the same way, and we know that not everybody moves the same way. So why does this happen? I think the answer is there's too much to recall. So just look at the wide variety of topics that your speakers are going to cover tonight. You're expected to remember all of that, plus all of the accessibility guidance, plus you're supposed to remember so much more. That is too much. And so I'm here tonight to suggest a solution. I want to start off with Jakob Nielsen's 10 usability heuristics for interface design. These are from the mid-1990s, and to be honest, most of you look a lot younger than that, but please bear with me. So the problem is that there's too much to recall, and so I want to look at number 6, recognition rather than recall. So Jakob Nielsen said, for users, information required to use the design should be visible or easily retrievable when needed. I say let's tweak that to make life easier for designers. Let's say the information required to produce the design should be visible or easily retrievable when needed. In other words, let's make it easier to recognize accessibility issues when we're designing. So how are we going to do that? I really like the book A Web for Everyone by Sarah Horton and Whitney Quisenberry. And I really like this book, not only because it includes a quote from me, actually 2 quotes, but I don't like to boast, but because it includes personas that are perfect for helping us to recognize accessibility issues. That's the good news. The even better news is that these personas are available now for free on the companion website to this book, What Every Engineer Should Know About Digital Accessibility, again by Sarah Horton with David Sloan this time. I'm going to introduce you to these now. This will literally take a minute. I like this format. So Vishnu is an engineer, a global citizen with low vision. He says if he can adjust his screen, he can read comfortably. Trevor is a high school student with autism. For designing for Trevor, please pay careful attention to Rebecca's talk about neurodiversity later on tonight. Stephen is a deaf graphic artist and American Sign Language speaker. He says without captions, it's meaningless to him. Maria is a bilingual community health worker. She says when a site is confusing, I just leave. Fair enough, Maria. Aaliyah is an editor living with fatigue and pain. She says, don't make me work so hard. Please do not bombard this lady with drop-down lists. Jacob is a blind paralegal and a bit of a geek. He says the right technology lets me do anything. Emily has cerebral palsy and is living independently. She says simpler screens are easier screens. Hell yeah, Emily. And Carol is a grandmother with macular degeneration, which affects her sight. She says, I don't understand what the screen is saying. I want to throw one more persona at you as well, because to be honest, you lot are overachievers. So one of my favorite authors, Kenneth Bowles, who literally wrote the book on future ethics, says to create personas non grata. In other words, every time we design something, we have to think about what a bad guy could do with that thing and whom that might affect. Now, to actually use these while designing, I like what Eric Meyer and Sarah Wachter-Becher in Design Free Life called the designated dissenter. For each project that you work on, one of your teams should be responsible for asking, will this work for Vishnu? How's Trevor going to get on with this? And so on. Then, once you've used the personas to recognize the accessibility issues, you can look up the guidelines for whatever platform you're designing for. That's all the information you need. I told you less than 5 minutes ago that I would give you homework. You thought I was joking. So here's your homework. I want you to go to knowaboutaccessibility.org. I want you to grab these personas, use them throughout every design project, and I want you to use that to help you to recognize accessibility issues and reclaim design for everyone. Thank you.